This stupidly simple calisthenics mistake could be costing you progress, it could be harming your chances of injury, and it could also be stopping you getting the carryover that you deserve to all the calisthenics skills that you're currently training for. Hey guys, welcome to another video. I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. I'm not entirely sure when I'm going to release this video exactly, but happy holidays to you all. I hope you're excited for 2022 and I hope you're looking to smash your training goals and level up just like we leveled up all throughout 2021. God only knows what 2022 will bring, but if we start now with the right habits, we can definitely smash the year ahead. I'm excited and I hope you're excited too. So let's get to today's topic. And it is where your scapula is in certain positions. So beyond a certain level, it's easy to think that you've mastered scapular positioning and start thinking of other cues, i.e. chin above the bar in a pull-up or chin-up. Chest down nice and low, just a deep dip, dropping your shoulders below your hands, for example, or below your elbows in a dip, or just going nice and low in a push-up. You forget what your shoulder blades are actually doing, which is fine if you do this with not much weight. When you start getting stronger and you start looking at more advanced skills like muscle-ups, for example, if you haven't got good scapular position on these as you add load, the wear and tear will increase dramatically. I speak from a lot of experience from 2020 pretty much into 2021. I spent most of my time injured, or at least slightly injured, due to this exact problem. So doing too much weighted training without emphasis on the scapula being in the proper position. This is key. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the 4 basic fundamental patterns of calisthenics, and we're going to give you a solid primer and reminder of where your scapula should be, with a little outline of how you can keep up to speed and up to scratch with these positions so that you never forget these in the future and you don't make these mistakes. And what this will do for you is it will accentuate your progress and save you a crap load of time in the future. And we'll start with the 2 most iconic movements in calisthenics, the pull-up and the dip. So vertical pull, vertical push. We've all seen the backless pull-up and the neckless dip. The backless pull-up is where someone pulls above the bar and they shrug their shoulders up towards their ears. And if you're looking at them from behind, you can't actually see their back muscles because their scapula is spread off their spine and lifted up towards their ears, aka no back muscle engagement. And the neckless dip is where someone steps off a box and they are in the top support position on the dip bars and you can't see their neck because their shoulders and ears are getting really cozy with each other. Obviously this is someone who's unable to depress their scapula properly, and this is a really unstable position. Not only that, then people keep adding load to this position. They take the weight down, the shoulders stay in the same position throughout the entire movement. And of course, the front of the shoulder capsule drifts forwards and that aggravates the joint, and over time you end up with impingement and all kinds of problems. Needless to say, we need to avoid this. What you really need to be doing on these movements, particularly on the pull-up, is you need to be making sure your scapula is depressed. So obviously you're still going to start from a completely passive hang. You're going to then engage the scapula, and then once the scapula is engaged, i.e. depressed, shoulders pulled away from the ears, you're going to bend, initiate the movement by driving the elbows down towards your hip pockets. This will cause your chest and chin to rise nice and high above the bar, and then you're going to mentally cue yourself to squeeze the shoulders down and together at the top. Now you don't need to overdo this and turn this into some kind of sternum pull-up, but if you're not emphasizing this cue, even if you're training things like muscle-ups, you will end up with that really sloppy, arm-dominant, no-back pull-up variation, which is no good for shoulder health, and it's actually a lot less efficient because, let's face it, the back muscles are big, they are powerful, and they're designed to take a beating. The arm muscles recover slower, and they're not designed to take the same training load. The dip is a similar thing. What we need to do instead here is focus on depressing the shoulders at the top. If you can't even hold, say, a 30-second support position on the dip bars with your shoulders in a good position, you haven't really got much business doing dips, at least for reps yet. Build up some capacity there as well so that you can really ingrain proper habits. If you are stronger and can do that, then you need to make sure that when you're going down to the bottom of the dip, you're not letting your shoulders roll forwards and elevate, i.e. come out of their sockets somewhat, because this is going to stress them over time. And you need to pay attention of keeping sure that you're working in the range that you can control. So you're only going to dip down as far as you can keep the scapula depressed. Obviously below a certain depth, the shoulders have to compensate. So in your warm-ups, you need to really practice the position that works for your current flexibility and anatomy. The next push-pull pairing we're going to look at is the classic push-up and the classic row. So we'll start with the push-up, which is commonly more of a shrug-up nowadays. We've all seen people that do push-ups where their shoulders are up by their ears, very much like the dip. Obviously, we don't want that. This is a compromised position, and it gets worse when you start taking the push-up to more advanced variations. So when you think you can do 30 floor push-ups and you start looking at archer push-ups, ring push-ups, and anything like that, or even weighted push-ups, if you have this bad habit in place, you will keep getting stronger, in inverted commas, for a while, but it's full strength because your scapula's in a bad position, which means the carryover to skills like planche, even the dip variations, or anything to do with those muscles that you're training is not going to be anywhere near as high as it would if your scapula is in the perfect position, which is obviously depressed and slightly protracted at the top of each rep. So this is key for the push-up. Moving on to the row, well, the row is a little bit like the ugly sister that when you peel the layers back, you realise she's sexier than you thought, and she's got a lot more to offer than you ever realised. So the hidden gem. So brownie points to you if you're even rowing to begin with, because as we all know, calisthenics has a massive row shortage. Nobody seems to be doing rows, but those who do rows are the ones that make the best progress. But when you do rows, the common thing here is to shrug up and let the humerus glide forwards, where the head of the shoulder rolls forwards at the top, because you're trying to pull the arms so far back behind the body where you do not have the sufficient shoulder extension to do so. So you need to be really mindful here to pull the shoulders down and together, and then drive the elbows back as far as possible. Ideally, your hands, if you're using rings, would touch the chest. If you're using a bar, your chest would touch the bar. If you don't quite have that range of motion yet, either scale the load back by sort of modifying the angle, making the angle a little less steep, or work with a range that you have and look to build this over time. It won't take too long if you do this consistently. Before you know it, you'll have an increase in range of motion. And I think that's more or less it, guys. This is probably one of the more simpler videos I've done, and you're probably thinking, yeah, okay, whatever, I know all this stuff. Honestly, I thought I knew all this stuff, but you get into bad habits when you push this consistently for long enough, and if no one's watching over, you've got no coach reviewing your footage or anything like that, you can slide into bad habits. I did. I thought I was solid, and I learned the hard way. So please do pay attention to these tips I'm giving you, and just make sure that you are visiting these basic movements in their primal form and nailing them at least every now and then. Of course, you can go heavy, and sometimes your form is always going to degrade a little bit when you go heavy, but you need to make sure you're revisiting them lightly so that you at least know what the basics are, which I definitely wasn't doing. Here are a few ideas for you to do that. The most simple way to do this is just to do light reps before you do any weighted reps. Or let's say, for example, you're going to train a muscle up, you would do some light, low rep pull-ups with the absolute perfect form, where you are focusing on all the mental cues and getting your shoulders and body in the spot-on position. You can do the same thing for dips, rows, and push-ups. Another option is taking an entire day where you just train these movements super light for a reasonable amount of volume. It's almost like active recovery, and you're considering it kind of skill practice or skill consolidation. It's like a learning procedure where you're just re-educating yourself every so often on the perfect mechanics, where you actually schedule a day in your training plan to do this. Or depending on what deload option you do, you could even use an entire deload week to do this, where you'll just take all the weight off, you'll even cut the reps down, and you are just going for the absolute most perfect execution. So this is like YouTube instruction video quality. You could show it to everyone around the world. Every single strength coach in the know is going to watch you doing this video. They're all going to approve. They're all going to give you a 10 out of 10 rating for your execution. This is another way that you can keep it into your subconscious mind so that you never fall into bad habits. If you do manage to do this and you stick to this and you keep these habits good, you will save yourself so much time down the line. You'll stop plateaus, you'll get better carryover to movements, and ultimately you'll save yourself from injury, as the wear and tear on your body will be nowhere near as much as it would if you let yourself get sloppy. So I hope that helps you guys. Try it out. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Is this something that you're aware of? Have you not thought about this for a while? What kind of strength level are you at? If you're a beginner, this is a great foot to get started on. If you're a little bit more advanced, it is really good every now and then to drop the ego and come back to basics just a little bit, just to re-educate yourself, and then you can go forwards again. So it's almost like 3 steps forwards, half a step back every so often. And believe me, if you keep doing that nice and solid, you'll still be 20 odd steps forwards down the line. So it's a win-win situation. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you liked the video, just give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down. That's all good. If you like the content so far, subscribe to the channel so that you can get all the stuff I plan to bring you in the coming year. I'm going to really try and help you guys level up some more. In the description box below, you'll find a link to my website where I've written an article on this subject that goes a little bit deeper than I did in this video if you prefer a read. And while you're there, you can get your copy of my free ebook, Strong with Rings, that comes with a nice training plan to get you started within calisthenics and gymnastics rings training. Until the next video, guys, Stay strong, stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace out.